Welcome to Your Legacy Stories podcast. Your host, Natalie McQueen, helps people from all walks of life to create, live, and preserve their legacy for future generations to enjoy. Natalie's mission is to help you craft the legacy you deserve, encourage you to live it to the fullest, and then preserve it for future generations to enjoy. On this show, her guests share moments of purpose, gratitude, wisdom, and tradition, and of course, their legacy stories.
Well, hello, everyone. This is Natalie McQueen with Your Legacy Stories. And today we have some featured authors of a book that is doing wonderful things. It is called The Power of Your Inner Sparkle. And we actually have the brains and the behind the scenes person that dreamt this project up and brought it to fruition, Miss Bobby here. So let's go around the room. Everyone announce who you are, where you're located in the world, and then why you wanted to be a part of this book. Or for Bobby, you can share how it came about. Go ahead, Bobby.
Okay, my name is Bobby Wilcox, and I live in beautiful Woodland Park, Colorado, about 8,400 in elevation. So we're way up here. And so I had a soul moment, as I call it, last year. And my soul was like, Bobby, what's your dream? And I was like, my dream is to write a bestseller. And so, back and forth, meditation, really being pondering. And it came back and said, my soul's like, well, what would that look like? And I said, well, I did the first book, Reconciled, for myself, but what's the second book about? And my soul is for them. And I said, for them. And my soul said, yeah, the women. And so I knew right then and there that was my calling, and met a mentor, and she told me about compilation books. Didn't really have a clue about them before. and it was just very much divinely guided, and I just knew this was my calling, and I needed to have 12 just kept coming to me. 12 sparkle authors.
Nice.
And so I went, all right, then I'm just going to leave it up to divine to orchestrate exactly who needs to be in the book and their story, and what's in the highest good. And so that's my story of how, and then everything just fell into place. The authors.
And you certainly found 12 beautiful, sparkly authors.
Yes.
How about you, Lacey?
My name is Lacey Nelson. Hi, ladies. To follow Bobby is an honor. So I got connected with Bobby. I live in Northern California, so way out here, far away from Bobby, in the absolute heat. And I was asked by Bobby to get on this project with her after a phone call. We were connected through a mutual friend, another author, Tisha Vaculin. And so Bobby and I hit it off immediately on the phone from two different states. It was, I don't know, Bobby, that hour conversation, our first time talking. It was like we were friends in past lifetimes. And so listening to her passion and her zest for this project and what it meant to her and what it would require was something that I was immediately drawn to and wanted to be a part of. Becoming a published author has always been a huge goal of mine. I'm working on my own book, but I've never published. So to have my first published work to be under the umbrella of 11 other incredible women around our country is I couldn't have asked. Like Bobby said, divine, God working and putting us all together. So I am so excited to be on this project. And with that being said, a powerhouse of a woman in my life that has done nothing but inspire me from moment one. When Bobby said they were looking for more authors, I immediately thought of Miss Angela. She is my best friend in this world. And I knew that this project could not be done without her a part of it. So, Ange.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I was going to give you all the props. And my name is Angela Webb. I'm from Northern California, and just so incredibly grateful to be a part of this project. Lacey, I give her all the props because she said, hey, you need to talk to Bobby. Bobby needs to talk to you. And same sentiments as Lacey just said. When I spoke with Bobby, I felt like I knew her all my life. when she gave me the breakdown of what this project was going to look like, honestly, I was scared. I'm like, do I even, am I even worthy enough to be a part of this group of 11 amazing souls across the country that are really sharing some powerful things? And I honestly said, I don't know what chapter of my life to write about, you know? And she goes, that's exactly why you need to be a part of it. So I'm so, so grateful. One day the rest of the story will come out, but for this to be the first project in print and published, I am truly, truly honored to be a part of it. So thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you. This is one of my passions, is to do compilation books where you're taking everyone's individual life experiences and what we've gone through, and then bring them together into a beautiful way of sharing it, and sharing how we've often got past it and how we're using our messages to help others move past theirs. So thank you for that. So, Lacey, I'm going to hit you first. What is one myth about women's empowerment that you want to break wide open?
I think that's a twofold question. I think there's a myth that women, on one hand, should be strong enough to handle any and all challenges on their own. And then on the flip side of that, women need to lean on somebody, something else, because we have this misconception that we aren't good enough to do it ourselves. And so for me, it's a twofold answer. On one hand, we absolutely can do anything and everything on our own that we want, and we are capable and able to create whatever dreams and things that we have in our hearts. We can do it all on our own. We have the resiliency and the tenacity and the strength to do it alone. But with that being said, to lean on other women or other humans even to be able to get to those places, I think this journey shows that the 12 of us together can make something amazing. We did it on our own and as a team.
Yeah, absolutely. Beautifully said. That it's so true, because often you hear, and I'm not picking on corporate, but where it's like tearing each other down, it's that competition. And there's so many beautiful people like you that are looking at this and saying, we're all coming together, we're all lifting each other up, and everyone wins that way. So I love that.
Natalie, I think that's important to also note a quote you just led me into. Those at the top are collaborating while those at the bottom are competing. And I feel
Oh,
like the 12 of us, including you, are at the top collaborating to make things better.
absolutely. So Angela, how do you help others reclaim their voice or value in your work?
You know, I think when it doesn't matter if I'm speaking to a group of youth or women or even in the corporate setting, it's really about helping them create the narrative that they want. So many times that we get into this mindset of this is how I've always been, this is how it's always will be, and realizing that they have such power and control over their life and over their destiny. But it takes a mind shift internally for them to pursue their loves, to understand that they are worthy of their dreams and desires. I think women, especially, we've been taught to act a certain way and respond a certain way that might not align with who we were created to be. And to just channel into you were created for a purpose. You were created for something bigger than just yourselves. And to really hone in on that and bring that out of people is just a beautiful thing to see and transpire.
Right? That is beautiful. You hit home. Sometimes it's true. Sometimes it takes something almost traumatic to
Yeah.
get our attention,
Yeah.
to realize that we're not living the way that we should be, or, being authentic to our own voices.
Yeah. And just to remind them, they're not broken with
Right.
their past or their trauma or crisis. They're becoming. And to
Mm.
find where that becoming really situates with them and resonates with them in their life, to use that as a pedestal, not a prison.
Oh, I love that. That's
Yeah.
powerful. I love that. So, Bobby, how has your journey of healing and growth impacted the way that you show up for the world today?
So I feel that, life's a journey, and had I not gone through everything that I went through, I wouldn't be who I am today.
Yeah.
Because who I am today
Yeah.
and what I went through, I am that because of what I went through, right? The past divorce and new relationships, learning how to communicate, working with other women, empowering them, helping them, leadership through the whole place. And I feel that my healing journey and my personal self-growth has allowed it to be me to be an example for others. So people who know me and who are around me and know what I went through, they see who I am today. And I feel that that inspires them and helps them in some way. Like, if she can go through that and get through that and heal and come out the other side, so can I. And for example, when I would counseling and coaching with spiritual counseling, coaching with step couples, they would say they're in the middle of this, dialogue with their stepkids and with their spouse, and they're arguing and they're fighting and they can't see out of it. But they see how my husband, as I call him, and I were friends, and we went on a blended family vacation together. And they're like, I want that. How do we, where we're at now in this mess, how can we get to where that is? So I feel that being an example of the healing and personal and spiritual growth process allows others to be inspired to do the same. And walking it in their own path, right? It just encourages them that they can to get through it.
So share with me on a bigger picture. You're obviously giving a place for women's voices in the book. How else are you giving women a voice?
That's a
I'm
good
tricking you
question.
here. Think of July.
Well, I feel inspired that the vision that I had for this project, Sparkle Project, as I call it in the beginning, was worldwide. That it's for women everywhere. And in the process of working with these beautiful Sparkle authors and their stories, and then we had Sparkle readers, and then hearing their feedback with the stories that they pre-read, the stories, it has been so inspiring on so many different levels. And some of the feedback is, well, I resonated with Angela's story because I've lived that, or I've resonated with Lacey's story because I've gone through some of that trauma in my past or whatever. And so it seems like each person who reads it, there's a diversity in the book and the chapters, and there's stories that help anyone to be able to relate on whatever level they're at. And I feel that that is a voice that is like all through for every woman everywhere.
Absolutely. I was thinking, oh, go ahead.
To follow up with that is this book that's not just one theme. There's so many powerful, inspiring themes that you will be able to connect. Are able to connect with at least one of the stories. They're all very inspiring. But was reading through all the comments from the readers that are sample readers, and it was so touching because they're like, I've been through what Lacey went through, and to see how she overcame that, I know I can do it too. To see where, Havilah was and where she is now, that gives me hope. I mean, this book is so much about hope, and it doesn't matter where you are at, your story is still unfolding. And this just gives you 12 examples of how your story can unfold as well.
Absolutely.
And to add to that, it feels like each story is a voice, right? There's a voice in the
Yeah.
diversity, like Angela was talking about, how they're all different. So there's 12 different voices.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. And you're putting voices on stage coming up in July.
Yes,
That's
yes, we are.
We all get to meet finally.
Yeah,
Good, but we get to hug.
I
Right.
know.
All right. So, Lacey, how do you define resilience and how does that show up in your story?
Mm.
Resilience is often looked at as simply overcoming something or pressing on or pushing forward. And while it means that to me and everyone else, I also feel like resilience is facing what you went through, not just pushing it under a rug and getting over it. So we can all get over it. We're strong, powerful women. But if we don't get to the root of what it is that we went through or how we've come to this place, then we're not going to be resilient at all. It could appear that we are resilient, but one day, eventually, it will come back. And I don't like to teach people resilience in that way where, hey, you're going to be fine. Let's just get over it. No, what happened? Let's talk about it. Let's get through it. And then when you get through it, I feel like a person truly feels resilient. Instead of just saying they're resilient, they feel the depths of resiliency in the fact that they faced and conquered what they've gone through. And I think that's part of my chapter. I knew for so many years what happened to me as a small child. Obviously, I carried much of that in my life. And I thought, well, just being strong and powerful and being successful and getting over it, sucking it up. I was very much a suck it up person. I thought I was being resilient. And when in fact I wasn't, I wasn't facing it. So my resilience now comes through voicing what happened to me in this book and in life, and actually getting to the root of what happened to me through therapy and other things that I used to be ashamed of that I had to do. So resilience, yes, getting over things, but also facing the thing that got you there.
Yeah. And I love that it's being more common now to be able to talk about, getting that help. And it's not something to be embarrassed about. And our mental health and our mental, how we feel about ourselves, how we conduct our daily lives with our mental state is so important. And luckily, many of us have people to lean on to um, reach out to, but sometimes people don't. And that's when we need to make it an open floor for there's no embarrassment, shame, or judgment when we need to ask for help or get professional help. So I love these type of stories that talk about that.
Yeah, and every day to day, I mean, think as children, we're not taught these tools that if trauma, or if it's not even an if anymore, it's when something comes your way that is not good at any kind of a level of depth to it, how do we overcome? How do we become, victors instead of the victims of life? Yes, we will be victimized, we will go through scenarios, things like that, but what are the tools? And yes, help through mental health and therapy and things like that is essential, and
Right.
is something that you got to put in the work. It's just not clocking in and showing up at a therapist's office. That's just wasting money, wasting time. But when you go in with the mindset of, I need tools to help me overcome this, that's not taught. That's healthy.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
healthy for us to be able to share. That's just another thing that helps us grow.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Angela, so has anything shifted for you personally since writing your chapter?
Um, has anything shifted? Yes. I was going through an enormous amount of health issues, almost going blind. I kid you not, when I was writing my final draft and sending it to Bobby, I had it on a magnifying glass and a 250 point font size. And I sat there and went, why am I doing this? This isn't the time for me. And if there's one thing that I know in my life, the harder it gets, the more I need to do it and push through, not tuck tail and run. So it was one of those things of, you know what, this book is, yes, it's great. I get to say I'm a published author, which is very cool. Bucket list. but it's out there for someone. And if my life story could be summed up in any type of a legacy, I want it to be, I think there's a quote out there, because of you, I did not give up, because I know it's possible to get through. And I think that is just, once it hit print, or once it was a go, and I was selected, I'm so grateful. But I know that so much good will come from not just my story, but collectively all of us together. And I think what changed, if you will, was the reality that people want more authenticity.
Yes.
Don't want more fake stories, more
Right.
filters, more pretend highlights on social media. And that's where we connect. I think, Lacey, you even started off with this. We were made not to live on an island, but to live in
Right.
community with one another.
Mm.
Because at the end of the day, that is how we are able to get through some of the difficulties in life.
Mm.
But our first insecurities might pop up, and go, yep, this is not for you. This isn't good timing. But when those things do, it's not an if, it's a when. But when they do, we push through.
Mhm.
And it's so many times since then, since I was going through that, of all right, this is where we start really become authentic, and share, because I swear it wasn't an audible voice, but I felt it in my spirit, with God's just saying, I didn't bring you through all of that to talk about what you do in my business, because I'm very business focused, but talk about how I was brought through. And I think that's just a very encouraging standpoint that's what's changed. It's time to be authentic and be real.
It's
And you know
beautiful.
what? So many people are afraid to bring that side of you out because,
Yes.
especially as business owners, right? Oh, we're supposed to be
Yes.
perfect and have everything, and nothing
Everything
goes
has to
wrong
be
with us.
perfect.
And we, you know, and when we show that, hey, we're not perfect, things happen, and this is the real me,
Yeah.
it actually opens up a whole new world, and people actually bond with you more and just see the value because you're you.
It
Mhm.
resonates. So here's the thing. When I was getting on social media, I was notorious. I actually had a friend reach out and said, what happened to your rule of one selfie a year? Reality is, it resonates with people when you're real.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They can almost, it's not living vicariously through you, but I heard somebody say, if you are so worried about your teeth, your hair, your projection, is that going to look good, all of this, there's nothing more selfish than that. Because if you truly do have a story to share that
Yes.
could change someone's life or help them get them out of the situation that they're in, you're holding that back because of selfishness.
Mm.
And
Yeah. Do you know
let
you
that
made it?
go. It's like, it's not about me. The acronym HOPE, help one person every day. If I can get online and just help one
Yes.
person,
Yeah.
then that's what it's there for. Switch the mind shift of social media is the one selfie every day, but to genuinely help someone through whatever they're going through.
Yeah, exactly.
Beautiful.
So
Done.
I would like everyone to answer this question because I think there's a lot of people out there watching, and if they are feeling this way, I want to get it from a different perspective. So if you could sit down with one woman that felt a little lost or maybe silenced, what would you tell her? Bobby, you want to go first?
First, I would listen. I would ask her what was going on with her. And because what I've found is sometimes we just need to be heard, and we just need someone to listen. We don't necessarily need someone to tell us what to do, because I believe we all have the answers within ourselves. So it's not about telling them what to do, but how can I serve and love you? How, what do you need from me? and just listen, asking questions and drawing it out of them to help them move through it. What is the saying, like, when you ask questions and someone draws it out of you, you learn more than someone telling you what to do.
Yes.
So that would be my answer. That's what I would do is ask questions. Where are
Beautiful.
you at? What do why are you feeling this way? What's going on for you right now? Yeah.
What about you, Lacey?
I think I was at a place also too much in class, so I will not silence.
Me too.
Yeah, here we are. So, but the feeling lost, I think at some point in a woman's life, we all get to this place where we feel lost. I'm 40 years old right now, so I think just started coming into a place where your 40s are supposed to be very fun. This is all I've heard. This is my favorite decade, and so far, my first year of the 40s has been very challenging, we'll say that. And so that feeling of feeling lost, I definitely have experienced it. And I think to other women who are feeling lost, there isn't any advice necessarily a person can give you, but you have to look within. You have to do deep soul searching and find out what makes me passionate, what gives me happiness every day. If it's as little as gardening every day, or if it's as big as Angela and I have, and we went on movies and at the Oscars. So whatever it is that your passion is, it doesn't have to match up with other women. When I coach other women, sometimes they say, well, I can't do all that you're doing. You don't have to do what I'm doing. You only have to do what you want to do, what
Right.
drives you every day. If it's being a wife and mother that drives you, well, then put some focus into that. If it's I'm a wife and mother, but I feel lost in that. I no longer have my identity. I've heard that from many women who are raising small children. I don't know who I am anymore. Well, what makes self happy? So if you're feeling lost, there is some soul searching to do there, and what makes self happy. And sometimes that means going off and being alone. A lot of times as women, we don't want to sit alone. We don't want to go somewhere alone. And it's scary to do that. It feels lonely. But just because you're alone or lonely doesn't mean you're alone or lonely. Somebody's always there. So, I like to take 2 or 3 day drives and just to see, where I am and how I feel. That makes me reconnect with self. I'm driving to Colorado next month. I have a road trip planned for myself. So, and I'm going alone. And I love that for me because it is my few days to sit and just really experience the world and myself. And I can't wait to see what comes up for me. So if you're a woman out there and you're feeling lost, find what drives you inside, find what makes you passionate, and then unsilence yourself with that passion.
Oh, I love that. What a beautiful answer. I when after I had my near death experience, I did a lot of that. And one thing that helped me really work through things was journaling. And I ended up creating a line of journals because of that, realizing the power of just bringing out those inner thoughts and working through them. And sometimes writing a question down for yourself and then answering it and being surprised at your answer really helps you grow and see things clearly. Thank you.
Yes,
How
ma'am.
about you, Angela?
Oh goodness, I think I would reiterate what the two Bobby and Lacey said, but just to let them know that you're not too far lost. You're not too far gone. You're not too far broken. I truly believe God writes in the margins of our lives to bring it out sometimes. And you got to speak even though your voice is shaking. You don't have to be perfect to be powerful. You just have to be willing. And, whether the modality to get there is journaling or taking drives or trips by yourself to find that courage within, it truly is something we all possess. Get around the people that are your cheerleaders. That's Lacey and I can sit around, and it's like she's the first one I tell good news to, bad news to, doesn't matter, because she's right there, got my back, and let me, my cheerleader, and vice versa. Get yourself a new tribe if you need to, because they're the ones, your circle around you will either lift you up or hold you back. And that could be a big part of why you feel lost. You have this yearning and desire within you to move forward, but your circle around you doesn't want to do that. They don't want you to catapult up higher.
Right.
So that could be a big thing too. But, just reiterating the fact of you absolutely do not have to be perfect to be powerful and to move forward, no matter where you're at.
Yeah.
Angela and I like to say to each other, empowered women empower women.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
nice.
Absolutely.
if you're around other empowered women, you will be brought up. Essentially, if they're not empowered within themselves, they're not going to bring you up, and then they're bringing you down. So sometimes you have to let go of some of those people, and it doesn't mean you don't love them. You can love them from far away and tell them, I love you, but I'm releasing you with love.
That is
You know?
scientifically. So this is how Lacey and I's
Yeah.
conversations go. We just start going back and forth. But this is a scientific fact. Harvard did a 25-year study that said the one thing that will determine your success in life, 25 years to get this one thing, and that is the 5 people who you closely associate with. They're either going to lift you up or pull you down.
Yeah.
And so many times we go, well, they're in my life since I was in 5th grade.
Oh,
Yeah, but what are they doing for you? No,
The crab's in the bucket, right?
exactly.
yes.
And even women, I believe, especially over 40 years old, we cherish these relationships like no other, because we're all in this together, but at a whole different level, whether it's kids and husbands and stepkids and, grandkids for some of us, whatever it is, careers, we're in this interesting spot. But then you find lifetime friends that I don't even remember a time without her, and it's really only been what, 5 years. But yeah.
Soul friendships.
Yes.
Soulful.
All the women out there listening to us and picking up the copy of this book, please, please, please let it inspire you. It's not just a book to keep on your nightstand for something to read before bed. It is a book to lift you up, to inspire you to do your own thing, to find your own flame and your own passion, and to find your own sparkle. And we can all be reached very easily. And I want our readers to know that if they resonate with one of us in this book more than someone else, find us, let us know. Let us inspire you on one-on-one basis. I don't think any woman in this project would turn someone down.
Oh,
No.
absolutely
So,
not. And that's the beautiful part is in the book, your contact links
Biographies are all in there.
all
Yeah.
on social media. The ladies want your feedback. They want to hear how their chapter made an impact in your lives. So buy the book. All the links will be down below. And then reach out to each and every one and have a conversation. So Bobby, any last words?
I think Lacey nailed it.
Wow.
How about you, Angela? Anything else?
I guess
the mic.
I know, we in on that.
One last thing would be reading the stories with an open heart and let them speak to your soul.
Nice.
Because each and every one of the authors, we all spoke from our soul. We were guided in such a beautiful, profound way that I think to the level that maybe we don't even truly understand the depths of what we wrote and how we wrote it. However, the readers do.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, thank you, ladies. And I can't wait to hear some of the comments that we get back from some of the readers. So let's keep sharing it out there and get your copy now and reach out.
Power of inner sparkle.
Sparkle.
Thank you.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Your Legacy Story Podcast. If you would like to share your legacy story with Natalie or get your legacy book started, please reach out at giftsoflegacy@gmail.com. Be sure to add My Legacy Stories in the subject line. We would love to help you share your legacy message out to the world. Natalie would like to invite you to join our private Facebook group, Create Your Legacy Life. She shares tips on book publishing, ways to create and leave your legacy, And she interviews the most amazing legacy creators, sharing their moments of purpose, gratitude, wisdom, and tradition, and of course, their legacy stories. See you next week.